For a long time, I was searching for a way to create income outside of a traditional job. I tried different things. I invested in programs, I learned, I showed up. I kept hearing the same advice: just keep going, your breakthrough is right around the corner. And I believed it because I understand that anything worth building is going to have hard seasons, and I don't believe you're supposed to quit every time something gets difficult. But eventually, I realized there is a difference between pushing through something hard and forcing yourself to become something you're not. When something started changing my character, draining me, and feeling more like a full time job, I had to stop and ask myself, is this really the life I'm trying to create? I didn't want to spend my days jumping on Zoom calls multiple times a day. I didn't want to become a salesperson when that simply wasn't who I was. I didn't want to feel like I had to step outside of my character God created in me just to make money. And I definitely didn't want financial freedom to come at the cost of my peace. Because behind all of this was something much deeper. I loved being home with my family. I loved being a stay at home mom. But I also couldn't ignore what was happening financially. Month after month, we were slowly drowning in debt. The financial pressure was always sitting in the back of my mind. How are we going to get out of this? How can I provide? How can I build something of my own? How can I flourish beyond the day to day responsibilities without giving up the life I actually love? I wanted something that allowed me to grow, something that could help my family, but I didn't want to sacrifice who I was to get there. So I made a different decision. I invested in education again, but this time I paid attention to something I overlooked before: alignment. I wanted to learn from something that aligned with my values and my faith. And when I stepped into the right education, something clicked. Instead of being told that I needed to change who I was reminded that who I am is actually part of my advantage. I could improve my skills without abandoning my personality. I could learn how to sell without becoming someone who feels fake. I could build a business without pretending to be an influencer. I could pursue the vision God placed inside of me without stepping outside of my character He gave me. And for the first time in this journey, I felt like something I haven't had before: peace, clarity, excitement about learning, excitement about growing, excitement about what could be possible. And that's why I share this story, because I know I'm not the only woman who wants more financially while still deeply loving the life she's already built. I'm not the only mom who wants to be home with her kids but also feels the pressure of living paycheck to paycheck. I'm not the only woman who wants to contribute financially without turning her entire life upside down. And I'm not the only woman who has tried things that looked good on paper but still didn't feel right in her spirit. I've learned that what works for one person isn't automatically going to work for another. No, you don't have to force yourself into someone else's mold just because that's how they built their business. You can learn, you can improve, you can stretch yourself, you can become more skilled, and you can still remain yourself in the process. That's the kind of freedom I'm building. Not just freedom from financial pressure, but freedom to build something that actually fits my life, my values, my family, my faith, and be the woman God created me to be. And now I want to help other women believe they can do the same, because you don't have to choose between being present for your family and pursuing the vision inside of you. You don't have to choose between making money and having peace. And you absolutely do not have to become something you're not to build something meaningful. There's another way, and I'm building it one step at a time. If this is speaking to you, hit that follow button, watch me along my journey. Also, if you want to know what I'm building, comment boss or send me a message, and I'll be happy to share what it is that I'm doing.